Hi there, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad to have you on the live stream this evening. Welcome back to another episode of the Paint Party live stream. I believe this is episode 116 of the live stream. So glad to have you with me here in the studio. This is my Learn to Paint journey where you join me every week and you get to see my process as I paint. You can participate in the live stream wherever you're watching by commenting on the comments on whatever platform you're watching on. This live stream is really laid back, so stay as long as you'd like, chat and engage. I love to answer questions or engage with you as we go through the evening. So yeah, welcome, welcome. So glad to have you. The summer's winding down here in the mountains and we're heading quickly towards fall. It's now in the 40s in the evening and then 70, 80 during the day. So perfect, beautiful weather, but it's always a reminder that we're headed towards winter. So just enjoying every minute I can. As I mentioned last week, I am in the process of beginning to develop ideas for my first show next year. Hopefully, I plan to do a collection of paintings here in the Black Hills, and so I will bring you along for that journey as well. You'll notice I guess my face was in the middle of it, but right there is a QR code that you can scan if you would like to join my email list. I plan to send out email notifications and more information. So if you want to be more involved in that process as far as information, you can do that. Otherwise, you can just stay subscribed here on YouTube or follow me on Instagram, wherever you'd like, and you'll see that process as well. All right, let's jump in tonight. As part of that process, as I have mentioned before, I am clearing out trying to clear out my studio. I have piles and piles of paintings that are partially finished. So I've been actually working on those throughout these live streams. I think it's something a little different because you get to see kind of more of the process as opposed to previous live streams where I would start a different painting every week. We'd get to a certain point and then you just see it finished. So this, you can actually see my process. I kind of explained what I'm thinking, what's going on, why I'm doing what I'm doing. So we're going to continue tonight, hopefully finish up this painting behind us. We did a lot of work last week, and I want to do some refining work on the clouds today and really get it wrapped up. So let's jump right in. All right, let me switch over. I'm going to first put up, look, I'll switch to this camera while I move the other cameras around, and I will put up a reference photo so you can see what I am looking at and making some decisions off of, although fewer and fewer because we're pretty much at the point where we are painted, or the painting is pretty done. So let's see here. Oh, this is my camera is not there. It senses my back camera. Okay, let's try to see if I can get that set up. All right, I'll plug this in before I forget. How's everybody's week? I hope it was a good week. It's quiet. Welcome, welcome to those of you that have joined more recently here in the last few minutes. You can participate wherever you're watching on the comments or through the comments wherever you're watching, so feel free to comment or ask questions as we go. And let's jump right in. All right. Oh, I need to adjust this a little bit so you can see. Oh, it's because I know why. We need to flip the, there we go. Let's see. Oh, there. Now you can see the painting, hopefully, whoop, a little better. This, there we go. All right, all right, all right. Welcome, welcome. I see a few more people popping in. I'm glad to have you this evening. Thank you for joining the live stream. All right, last week we worked on this one, and I think this painting is to a pretty good place that I'm pretty happy with. There are a few things I want to work on, but overall, welcome, welcome. Hi there, Mom and Dad. Guess Dad's out mowing. Hello, Mom. Glad to have you. Hey, Shirley. Thanks so much for joining for a few minutes. Welcome, welcome. As I said, I'm going to be working on some paintings this next year of the Black Hills, so I will be doing my first collection of, or unified collection of paintings all around specifically the northern Black Hills where I live. So keep an eye out for those. I'm just starting to do sketches right now for those idea sketches and value sketches, and I'm really excited of some of the ideas. So that is coming down the pipe. But for tonight, what I would like to do is do some refining work on the clouds. I'm pretty happy with how this is. I'm thinking that this needs, I'm still not entirely happy with how this reads. It reads okay, but I kind of want to, work on that a little bit more. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how this reads. And I think if I can do some work in the clouds, but I need to figure out what I want to do, because I really want this to be the focal point, but in the reference photo you'll see there's a bunch of light up here, and because I'm getting glare, it's hard. There you can kind of see that shows a little better what the clouds actually look like. And my first instinct was to go in and put more of that light there, but I think it will draw the eye away from the focal point. We really want everything in the painting to point us to this focal point where the deepest contrast of these leaves and this kind of misty area are. So we don't want to lose that. So that's kind of what we're playing with tonight. But let me think about, obviously the light is coming from this side, and so I don't want to lose that as well. So I'm not sure exactly how to attack this, but I do want to do that. So I'm going to put some white. Then we're going to put some blue. Then we'll put some raw umber. Actually, I think I'll do some burnt umber. And then some raw sienna. Not sure exactly what will be needed for the clouds. Kind of that. The raw sienna. Oh, I'm almost out of raw sienna. Oh, there it shot the paint onto my desk instead of the palette, so I'll see if we can put that there. Oop. There we go. Then a little, maybe, what do you say, perhaps some burnt sienna. Always trying to improve. So I watched a few videos this week, and they were talking specifically one from an artist named Andrew Tischler, a brilliant artist in, I believe, New Zealand, maybe Australia, but he was talking about the idea of palette hygiene is what he called it, but basically keeping your palette, and this was specifically focused on oils, but keeping your palette space clean so that you can mix. And he mentioned how important it is to have your paints laid out the same way every time. So I'm trying to go cool to warm, top to bottom. In this case, I could do across the top, but it's easier for me just to have them on the side. So that is what I'm doing, and that's why I'm doing it. Right there, at least. Okay, now let's go in and let's start to do some of this and see what we can do with these clouds. And I'm not sure exactly, but I think I'm gonna actually, let's take a little, maybe I can take a little brush. I think what I want to do is start at the bottom. I'm going to take a little raw sienna, a little burnt sienna and raw umber, or raw sienna, and mix together some of this color. Needs to be more. I need to diffuse this actually, so I'm going to take a little blue that will cut some of that, give us like a purplish color. Let's take the white, because we really want the white to give us kind of this bright. This might be probably too pink by the time it dries. So we'll take some more white, take a little bit of that pink in there. You can always add more in. Okay. And what I'm really focused on is, can I this is interesting as I'm looking at this. If I take a little of the purple, actually a little of the brown, I'm giving us some, trying to give us some contour to these clouds by butting up against the dark that's already there. And see how, like, just giving a little contrast. Isn't that cool how all of a sudden putting some light around it gives us some cloud shapes. There. Now, start to go, as we get further from the light, it becomes more diffused. more horizontal as we come down towards the horizon. And we'll have to see if this gives us what we're looking for, because basically we're trying to point or keep the eye pointed downward toward the focal point. All right. Well, that gives us some interest at least. And what we need is some put some blue. Whoop. And now I need some, I don't know if turquoise or green, like I'm gonna put a little turquoise here. I basically need some green. That might be too, probably need some cooler green. This, I guess I am opening all the paint tonight. Oh no, there's my other green. Oh, rats. Well, we will put that there because it came rushing out of the, it's really watery, out of the tube. Oh, thought I had another one there. Okay. What I am looking at. So up here, the values of the sky, notice how the values of the sky and the clouds are very similar. So you can, if you squint your eyes, you can't hardly tell. I mean, we know there's clouds there, but there's very little variance between the sky and the clouds, the sky color. So it has to be very muted, very just, so we'll bring in some of this red, take out the red and the green will counteract each other and give us kind of a gray. When you use complementary opposites, red and green, blue and orange, yellow and purple, etc., you get kind of a grayish color. So that's what we are going for, a really light but kind of a warm gray. That has a little bit of a blue tint to it. So we'll put just a little tiny bit of blue. There we go. And you won't be able to see those variations on your screen. But basically I've diffused it all the way down. It's hard to mix these. Okay, and then we want to come over here. We want to put those in right above the hill. I don't know if this will work, but we'll see. So we basically need to smooth out some of these dark spots that we painted a long time ago that have dried very darkly. There we go. Isn't that interesting how that works? Just get the values right. It's half the battle. There. Now we've lightened this up so this looks darker. Now, I am going to actually step back because I can't really see. I can see what's there, but I need to really kind of look how my eye is drawn. Okay. I think I know where I need to go, or at least I'm going to try this. So I'll tell you what I'm going to try to do, and then you'll see me try to do it, and then we'll know in a few minutes if it's going to work. So what I think, after looking at this at a distance and putting this lighter part in, what I believe I need to do is use this as a stepping stone and build up these clouds the same way, basically taking out this big light spot that wants to draw our eye now away. The only thing that's keeping us from our eye from going off the canvas here is this big yellow blob that's like, go here. But it's almost like, if you notice when you look at this quickly, your eye is going like boing, 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 boing. You know, it's like back and forth between these two, and it's not quite settled and it doesn't quite work, and I think that's the reason. So that's theory at least. So we're gonna do some darker top clouds so it will look like this is more dusk than the actual reference photo. It will look like this is actually sun setting here and it's pretty dark above. So let's try it and see what happens. And we're going to start with putting some sky color in. So I'm going to do kind of a blue, white. I'm going to take a little bit of this red in, diffuse that a little bit, or a lot bit. This brown, which basically gives me a shade of yellow-ish. And then we're going to desaturate it with white. It's a little tip. Those of you that enjoy knowing more about the process, white, and I've said this before, but white will desaturate your colors. So if you want less intensity, basically is what I mean by desaturation, white will do that for you. It will not lighten it may lighten the value, but it will desaturate your color completely. Okay, so I'm bringing this across, and then we'll probably paint over a lot of this, but that, again, it will give us layers and it will give us texture. So when it comes to acrylics, that's okay. It's not going to hurt us to paint over things and to give suggestions of I'm not sure. Let me take this up. Okay. There you go. Now you can see the whole sky as I work on it. The room is quiet tonight. Everybody's exhausted. I felt the same way until I started painting. I was like, I almost called it off this afternoon, but gotta be here for y'all. Nah, I'm here. Yes, for you, but for me. All right. It's crazy how when this dries, it dries so much darker. The blue is just like so, like when I put it on, it's so light, and then it darkens, darkens, darkens. All right, what I'm doing here, almost inadvertently, but I'm realizing as a good decision. Sometimes when you, as you learn, you're doing things that are smart. Um, Not strategically, but technically, but you don't realize that's what you're doing. Um, but what I'm already seeing my eye react to by taking out this intensity is it's, even though this is a higher value, it is pointing me down. Can you feel what I was describing before, how that ping pong is starting to dissipate as we cover up that kind of big orange blob that was up there? I shouldn't say big orange blob, but basically that's what it was. So it just is like, that's what it feels like, right? It cools down our, and compositionally what is happening is by putting this in, so we have this going like this, and we have a major section like this, and then this, so it's like alternate kind of triangles. Do you see this triangle of dark values and this triangle of light values? And so then it is bringing us back down here. And this line of kind of hills in the background is keeping our eye pressed down. So I actually like how this is coming together. So we're going to continue on this journey, kind of taking out some okay. Using this kind of grayish color, we'll put in some Okay, now what I've done is taken all of my contrast out of the sky, so I need to decide if I like this, or I need to go back and add some of that back in. Because this is obviously a different, now I've opened the whole sky up, and I need to decide, do I want that, is that what I want? So, I'm not sure. What do you all think? Any strong opinions one way or another? All my Bobby and Lola and my normal cohort aren't here, so I need y'all's opinion. What do you think? What do you think? As we get closer to the ground, there's more atmosphere we are looking through. So we really need to diffuse not only the contrast, but we want to, like, just the value, I can't remember the term, but basically the value spread between the hues, which are the colors, is there's so little variation between light and shadow that it's really this kind of play of it really is a value play. if we do this correctly, it will read really beautifully in the clouds and really like really true. Like it will just look like they're really floating up there. That pink is, I think, might be able to pull that off. Now I'm playing a little artistically. With the values. Bring a little bit of yellow. Okay. It's so much fun to become more competent at anything, but in particularly for me for this, like every little thing advancement. I mentioned, I think last session that I really had started working on composition, improving composition. And like, when you stretch, then you start to think in different ways in all areas. And as I have begun trying to lay out ideas for my show and my collection, it's crazy how my skills are slowly improving when I focus on composition. My skills in other areas improve as well. But I just had an idea. The idea was, what if I bring this lighter value all the way out against this dark contrast all the way down, basically, to ground level, and again using it as a, notice how this form is pointing us to the focal point. So we put that in. Now let me see if I can do something. Again, I'm going to step back, take a look. Let's see. Okay, again, I think taking these values, because I like how this light is directing us down to here, and we have like the focal point, we have dark value, light value, all pointing us to that point. And so I think I want to take this and start expanding some of these clouds up here again with that, like building that a little bit. That same, so I'm mixing a little blue and brown, which is like a reddish brown, and making a little purple gray or gray purple, and I'm again diffusing it with, that's going to be too light. Let's go in here. It's gonna, so let's see if we can start. This is kind of where, so this is going to be more purple, but can we give that feeling of the sky closing down on us, the clouds coming in on top of the kind of, we do almost a gradient with the, I don't know. It's hard to know until it dries because it'll dry darker and I don't want it to be too dark. But this is like the purple and the on top of the kind of orangish color. This will give us an idea if we're going the right direction, if we just kind of jot it in. Do you see where I'm going? See what I'm thinking? Then we can connect this in a little bit. Then we'll start darkening it just a little bit. Again, more layers doesn't hurt anything when it comes to acrylic, especially with clouds. Do y'all remember when I started and was like, I can't do clouds? It was just, it's actually kind of terrible. Well, little by little, live and learn. So much of it is learning to observe, learning to really look at what, when you see a gorgeous cloud and say, oh, that's beautiful. Like, what are you actually noticing when it comes down to, like, the big thing we all kind of, I think, notice most is the color. And we get sucked into the color of things, but it's really about the interplay of lights and darks when it comes down to it. Okay, so I have too much pink. Look how dark this color looks down here. Granted, it's a little bit in the shadow, but like, it's dark. And then you put it up here and it looks so light. It looks like bright pink. So what now I know is I can take this into this darker color, and that can give me shape for these clouds. And you see variations in your, like in the paint already, and so that can help create and we can take some of this all the way out here. Bring it back in. Okay. We have kind of this pink color coming up here. So we have this gradation of Let's see. What is this? Everything is about the contrast, isn't it? Hmm. Okay. I'm constructing very beautiful things, but I'm not sure they're doing what I want. So I'm not going to keep doing this. I'm going to go back to adding some, again, pushing the contrast of the darks and lights. Let's take, we've put a lot of light in. Let's go back. Our fundamental darks. It's like a purple, brown. Just a tad of white to make it a gray. This will be really, it doesn't, it looks dark here. Now let's see. Not sure. with our like I did with the lights, I'm going to come in with the darks and see if we can meet somewhere in the middle. Again, this is the furthest from the light, so it should have lots of contrast. I am just giving it some room to breathe and see what it wants to be. I'm not sure yet. All of this is basically testing ideas that I have. And I'm wondering, am I ruining the painting? Will it make it better in the long run? Or what is going on? Or that sky just kind of shows through. It's not a bad thing. We can begin to bring those clouds down. Ooh, way too much. Okay, there's definitely a storm brewing, isn't there? That's, in a way, the feeling I want. I want this feeling of this calm before the storm right down here. So that's what I'm going for. So I want to take this down again. I don't want the eye going up at all. Definitely want. There's like a, oh, that's dark. Okay. There. By really exaggerating what's happening here, there's really nowhere else for the viewer's eye to go but to the place we want it to go. And my hope is that when we're done, and I'm developing this kind of as I'm speaking, but my goal is that the feeling the viewer has is the roiling storm coming in and this kind of in limbo feeling of, is it going to hit? But there's also kind of this peace down here that's happening. So yeah, that's the feeling we're going for. Still not sure if I'm ruining this or not. Don't know. Time will tell, I suppose. Good thing is, you can always fix it. Thought I was going to fix this all tonight, but I don't think, because I don't think it's going the direction I want. At least I've just kind of lost my way a little bit. That's okay though. I can bring it back. I'm going to step away though, because I'm just painting marks because it's fun, and that's not, once you get to that point, you need to step back, walk away, do something else. I probably should work on another painting right now, but since we're doing a live stream, I won't. Okay, I think what I need to do is, I think this is correct. Like, I think for the most part, the storm up here is correct, but this is now taking over where I'm losing this contrast with this. So my feeling and stepping back, I think I need to go in and take, again, this kind of bluish, cooler color up into here. So let's go back. Let's get our blue again. We need a little bit of brown with our blue. And we definitely want it diffuse, so we need some more white. Because I want that kind of purple, cool purple color. Let's see if we can still do. We'll still have the contrast, it just won't be the warm brownish reds. Let's see if that helps tone things down at all. Okay, I think, yeah, just generally, I think that's the direction I need to go. There. How does that feel? Does that clear people's... Okay. I think we can bring this in. I don't know. Ugh. I know I keep saying that, but I feel like there's some kind kind of breakthrough. I was feeling really good about the painting and then not so much. There's some breakthrough that I'm missing here as far as skill. And I know it's just a matter of like my own. I guess I need to return to what I used to say. At this point in time, this is the level of my competence, and I am okay with that. And I probably just need to, like, I need to really study clouds because I'm shooting in the dark here in a sense. And I know there's things that I just haven't paid attention to. Again, it's so much about observation, especially when you're trying to adjust something or change something. It's easy to say, oh, I'm just going to do that, but to get it to look correct, that is a different story. And I think I am to the point where we'll see if I may actually wind down the live stream just because, again, when you're at the point of making marks for mark's sake, that is not a good place to be paint-wise. So unless I am improving this to some extent, then doesn't feel like I am. one of the things I really need to pay more attention to on clouds is like when the sun is setting, the the lightest part of the cloud, is that at the top or at the bottom, what appears to be the top or the bottom to us. Because when the sun is setting, it's always behind the clouds, right? So I think that the lightest part of the clouds has to be where the sun is shining over the top, especially if it's gone down. But I'm not sure. I really need to look at that or listen, pay attention to some tutorials about that and kind of educate myself, because probably like if I just knew more, it would be a really simple adjustment. It would just then be a matter of then it would just be a matter of laying in the right colors that I want and the right values in the right places. So let me push that back. I don't know. It's hard for you to see what I'm seeing because it is so much glare. Ugh. Anyway. That said, part of me wants to just, which I think I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to take a broad, we tried an experiment. I feel like we're at the point where it did not work. Therefore, let us do something else. Let us take a light, rather innocuous color, kind of a purple, kind of a blue purple color, and let's just start over. Not start over, but give ourselves a relative blank slate. See, that's what I love about painting is, well, and for me, like just being able to say, well, that didn't work, it's gonna go, and just saying, okay, And I do think that's one of the reasons I've been, like, my painting journey has been a relative good one is so far is because I don't get too precious about things. I mean, it'd be nicer if it had worked out and I had figured out what I didn't know and I could have done something better. But again, this is the level of my capacity at this point. Let me then say that and just acknowledge it and say, okay, this is the level of my skill right now, and that's okay. It doesn't look bad, like even as it is now, like just with this lighter and darker. But I am much more confident that I need to step away from so that's what it looks like right now. Actually looks like without the glare of that light on the paint, especially wet paint. And I do think I need to step away for a bit and let this breathe a little bit. And I am still pretty happy with this part, like from here down. So I just need to figure out what I need to do here to finish the painting. I was hoping to get it done tonight, but it is not happening, and I do think that I need to just wrap it up. So let me jump and bring you back to center, not my other camera, meaning. And we will switch this. I'm so grateful you stopped by. Those of you that have been here this evening, everybody's been quiet, but I see you there. Several of you that have been there all evening. So thank you for your patience, for bearing with me as I hash these things out. Hey there, Bob G. I was just wrapping up. So good to see you. I'm wrapping up a little early tonight. We've been working on this one, and we repainted the sky, and we repainted it again, and we gave it a storm, and we gave it daylight, and it didn't quite work out the way I wanted. So this is where we are, and I like just laying in that sky to paint over everything we had and get rid of it. I don't hate it. Like, I really like what's happening here and this feeling that it is, you know, pushing us to this focal point, but I'm not sure exactly how I want to wrap up this painting. So because I don't know and I can't picture it in my mind, and honestly because I was just making paint marks to make paint marks, I'm learning that's an ineffective, and that's typically when you should step away from a painting. So I am going to do that and say, like I have from the beginning, this is the best I can do at the limits of my skill right now, and I will continue to give this thought, and I'm sure like it will start to fall into place what I need to do. But I really need to spend some time honestly with it and look at it and really think about what's not working and how I correct it, because it doesn't help to be able to say the sky isn't working for me, but I'm just going to keep making marks because I don't know. There's an old aphorism that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. So in that case, I do not want to make myself insane with this painting, but I do kind of like it, so I need to, I mean, I love this part. I need to leave it sit as it is and give it some breathing room. But even with the dark sky, like, I'm liking that just in the few minutes here. So, all right. I want to thank you so much for joining me again. I will be back here next Monday evening, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Until then, again, you can follow me on Instagram. Be sure, if you are interested in following more of my process through the development of the all I can think is display, the exhibition and the collection that I'm developing. If you want more of that information, sign up for my email list, and I'll give more details and more information there that I won't have time to on the live stream, or won't be able to on the live stream. So I've been working on several drawings, so I will probably send those out in an email. I'm going to try to just probably do one a month. That way you're not inundated with emails, at least until things are really going and there's more information to share. But I'll probably share some of those drawings that I'm doing. Like I said, I'm doing some value sketches, some composition sketches, and that way you can, if you're interested, can see the progress, what ends up being the final painting versus my initial sketches, 8-10 months before. So if you're interested in that, that's where to get it. All right, thanks so much everyone for joining. Until next time, I hope you have a great week, and yeah, we will catch you on the next one. Good night.